Namaste, welcome to your Yin Friday. Thank you for being here with me today. We're going to start a nice and easy pose. So for the first class, I'm just going to recommend that if you have a blanket, to take the blanket and make it into a long rectangle like so. And then you're going to take that blanket and put it on top of your, either take extra blankets and put it on top, or you can take a bolster if you have a bolster. And this is gonna go, you're gonna sit on this bolster. So basically, like, I'm sitting halfway through the bolster. So if you don't have a bolster, again, just pile up a bunch of blankets, and then take one of the blankets, put your feet flat on the floor. That blanket, the top blanket, is gonna be for your pillow. And then you're just gonna come all the way down. So basically, you're kind of in a bridge pose, but with the bolster underneath you. Let the hips rest comfortably on top of your structure. If you don't have a bolster, you can just put blocks under your hips. If you don't have blocks, you can just pile up a bunch of pillows or blankets and put it under your hips. So the intention is to raise your hips, but not so much so that it's going to be very uncomfortable. I want you to start it nice and easy. And the reason we didn't start with the blocks is sometimes the blocks can be a little bit edgy. So make sure whatever you have under your hips is soft and comfortable. You can rest your head on a blanket or a pillow, and then you just close your eyes for a moment. Take a nice deep breath to your belly. And exhale, side out. And then if this feels good, you're going to take your knees out to the side. Let the soles of your feet come towards each other. So you're coming into this kind of version of Supta Baddha Konasana, supine butterfly pose on your back. Your shoulders are resting comfortably on the floor. Make sure that your shoulders are actually on the floor, that they're not hanging off of your structure. And you open up your knees out to the side, and you just breathe into your belly, your inner thigh, your outer thighs. Notice where you're feeling the tension, and see if you can send your breath right to that spot. And as usual, our Yin class is very introspective, so there are moments that I'm going to be quiet, and I just want you to just drop in. Feel the sensations in your body. If at any point you feel like you need to move out of the pose, just do it consciously. So try not to fidget so much, but just really let your body sort of rest in this position. So you may feel that your knees slowly begin to open up a little bit more as the connective tissues in your inner thighs begin to relax and release. And then you may even find that your breath becomes a little bit more subtle. Wherever you are, just notice it, observe it. It's like you become a true scientist in the study of you, your own body, your own physical, spiritual, mental body. And then notice how the sensations move. So you may initially feel the sensation in one body part, and then as slowly stay here a little bit longer, you may feel it that it's moving through the body. You're feeling it in other body parts. Take one more deep breath here. Exhale. And then slowly begin to put your feet flat on your mat again. Extend the left leg out and extend the right leg out. So same thing here as we did a minute ago, except that now you're getting a deep, deep stretch in the psoas muscles, maybe even a little bit on the hip flexors, on the front of the thighs. And Make sure that the shoulders are not tensing up to the ears. Turn the palms open towards the sky. I'm going to stay here for a couple minutes with the legs extended. If at any point you feel like you feel this too much in your low back, this is why I suggested we start on the bolster and not the regular bridge, supported bridge, because your kidneys are also being supported with the bolster underneath you. And if you don't have a bolster, if you've just piled up a bunch of blankets, you can feel that sense of support in your low back, in your hips, hamstrings. Letting the legs be really soft, relaxed. Your toes are drifting away from each other. Back of your knees are soft. One more minute. So really try and find relaxation in this pose. And each time you find your mind wandering, just bring your awareness to your breath. Really opening through the front side of your body, creating a beautiful supported back bend. If you've been sitting for a long period of time behind your desk, this should feel really lovely. And then gently begin to bend your knees, put your feet flat on your mat, please. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale. And just gently roll over to one side. So go really slowly, take your time, no rush. Pause for a moment. And then gently just press yourself up. And as you sit tall, take your bolster or your structure, put it to the left side of your body. So my left thigh is touching my the base of my bolster. Again, if you don't have a bolster, just pile up a bunch of firm pillows or blankets here. And then take one blanket and you're going to create a little pillow for yourself and put it on top of your structure. And as you take a nice deep breath in, you're just going to fold over your bolster. So my left hip, outside of my left hip is on the floor, and I'm just kind of resting on top of my bolster and my head. So I created a pillow with this blanket so that my shoulder is comfortable here. My left shoulder is nice and cozy. And then I'm just going to bring the left ear down on my blanket. Initially, have your knees be stacked on top of one another. As you take a nice deep breath in, you can raise the right arm above your head and drop it over your head. If that doesn't feel good on your shoulders, that's okay, just lower the right arm down. Otherwise, stretch out that right side body. And if this feels good, please by all means stay here. If you like just a little bit deeper stretch in that right side body, you can bring the right knee behind the left foot so that you get a bowing of that entire right side. And then again, close your eyes. We'll stay in here for a full 2 minutes. Breathe into that right side. This is where your liver is, right underneath the diaphragm, behind the ribs. So feel as if you're actually creating space for your liver. Your liver is a very important part of your organs. It filters out all the toxins. So smile at your liver and feel your liver smiling back at you. Your liver has a very important job to complete for the health of your body. It is a critical critical organ. The traditional Chinese medicine, they focused on the health of the liver and the kidneys for your overall health and well-being. Maybe even breathe into that right side body, the right lungs, stretching out the intercostal muscles between the right ribs, feeling the stretch in the IT band on that right side, the colon, the ascending colon. And then nice and slowly we're going to start moving. So take that right arm and you can circle the right arm all the way into one direction, making sure that shoulder feels good. So only go your own range of motion, please. And then all the way the other direction. And then as you're ready, you're just going to simply switch sides. So bring the knees and stack them on top of one another. Gently press yourself up. And then you can just roll over to the other side. I'm just going to switch sides, bring in my bolster to one side of my mat. So now the bolster is against my right thigh. And again, if you don't have bolsters, no worries. You can just take a bunch of thick pillows or blankets. The other blanket is going to stay on top. I'm going to rest my right ear on this blanket, and I'm just going to come all the way down so my right shoulder is comfortable. Make sure you're not squishing your shoulder under your body, that your right shoulder is fine. And then your head is resting on top of that blanket. Knees are stacked initially. As you breathe into your body, take that left arm all the way up and over, only if it feels good on that left shoulder. Make sure that you're not somehow putting too much pressure on the rotator cuff or the shoulder complex on that left shoulder. So you can close your eyes, just let the left arm rest comfortably on your head. And then now we're opening into the left side, stretching out the left side body. If this feels good, please by all means stay here. If you like to, you can take that left knee behind the right foot and then really feel the deeper stretch. So again, as I always say, deeper is not necessarily better. Make sure that it feels good. This yin practice, even though it's a challenging practice in terms of staying in a pose for a long period of time, but it's also a practice of really self-awareness. So noticing how the body feels, noticing how the mind does when the body is still, noticing what the breath is doing each moment, and noticing your overall mood, the general sort of attitude of what happens if you have to stay still. Is there fidgeting, or is there constant kind of desire to get out of the pose? These are all just little nuances that we don't pay attention to unless we become still and notice. Just like a scientist would do if they're considering a theory or studying a subject matter. So the subject matter here is ourselves, and then we are the scientist considering the subject matter. Our thoughts, our breath, our sensations. Breathe into that left side. Maybe stretching out the left lung, stretching out the intercostal muscles between the left ribs, the descending colon on this side, the spleen. See if you can really allow yourself just melt, softening towards the earth. So you took the most important step, which is actually showing up on your mat. And once you show up, can you just dedicate the next few moments to yourself? Allowing yourself to relax, to rejuvenate, and almost like saying to yourself, there's nothing I need to do, nowhere I need to be. I'm here present 100% to care for myself. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale it out. And then nice and slowly begin to press yourself up. Just be really gentle. And then we're going to turn towards our bolster. So child's pose, using your structure. Bring the big toes together, knees are wide apart from each other. You can bring that bolster or structure between your knees. And then you're just going to bring your forehead down onto your bolster or structure. So initially just give yourself enough space to be able to breathe here. So your forehead is resting on your hands or your pillows. And then just lengthen through your low back. Exhale. See if you can really allow the hips to melt down to your heels. Even though you're creating a little bit of a compression in the knees and stretching out the top of your feet, can you let your lumbar spine just lengthen down, letting the entire spine stretch and melt down towards the heels. Deep breath here, please. Sigh it out and open mouth. And letting go. This is such a beautiful pose of letting go and releasing any unnecessary tension. One more time. Nice deep inhalation through the nose and exhale out through an open mouth. Sigh it out. And then gently press yoururself up, please. So go ahead and put your structure to the side. We're going to move just a little bit before we settle down again. So come to tabletop, please. Hands and knees. Inhale, lift the chest up, send the tail up. Exhale, pull the belly and round the back. Take your hips all the way to your heels. And in a wave-like motion, inhale, lift the chest up, coming to the top of your mat. Lift the heart, lift the tailbone. Exhale, pull the belly and round the back. Take your hips all the way to your heels. And once again, inhale, coming into your cow pose as you lift the chest up. Send the tailbone up. Exhale, pull the belly and round the back and come into child's pose. And then come back into your tabletop pose. Tuck your toes under, and as you lean back, lift your hips up into your downward facing dog. And then just walk your feet all the way to your hands. Inhale, come halfway up, lengthen the spine, and exhale and fold forward, and then come to your Malasana. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift the hips up, lift the chest halfway, exhale, fold, and then bend the knees deep and come into your squat. And one more time, inhale, lift the hips, lift the chest up, lengthen the spine, exhale, fold forward, and then bend the knees as you come into your squat, Malasana. So for this one, I highly suggest that you take a block, or maybe even a cushion or a blanket or several blankets, and sit on your block. So we're going to do a supported yogi squat, supported Malasana, garland pose. With your toes turned out, follow the knees the same direction, or the toes. The knees are following the toes the same direction. And then you can initially just rest your forearms on top of your knees and drop the head down. We just want to let the sits bone melt down on your block. So if you don't have a block, you can come, find again, put a bunch of blankets and rest your buttocks on that, or you can sit on your cushion, or you can sit on a short stool. But wherever you're sitting, make sure that the spine is long. So we don't want to sit with our back rounded. Lift the chest as you send the tail back behind you. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale it out, and just drop the chin to your chest. So I'll turn around this way so you can see me. If you notice that my back is not rounded, you want to lengthen the spine. Back is as straight as you can possibly get it. And then the chest is lifted up as you bring the chin down. And then can you maintain that, and then begin to reach the arms forward. Palms are open. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, lower the hands down. Maybe your hands come to your ankles. And then lift the chest up and exhale gently, gently, gently. Begin to bring your chest in between the knees. So go super slowly so you're not putting too much pressure on your spine. Inhale, lift the chest up once again. Exhale, lower the torso down in between the knees. So deep, deep stretch for the low back. Once again, inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, and bring the torso in between the knees. Pause here for a moment. Take your gaze down to the mat so that the back of your neck becomes long. Keep your right hand on your right ankle. And then as you twist to the left, you reach the left arm out to the left. Turn the palm up. Arm is soft. Shoulders are soft away from the ears. Close your eyes. Just feel that kind of a twist in this seated squat position. And then nice and slowly bring the left hand to your left ankle as you twist. So twist your torso first and then float the right arm out to the right. Again, really important that the spine is long. So breathe into your spine, make it a little bit longer, and exhale, you can twist to the right. Let that right shoulder soften away from the ears. Inhale, come back to the center. Place your right hand on your right ankle. Once again, lift the chest and exhale and fold in between the legs a little bit more. Now bring the chin to your chest and drop the head down. Just pause here for a moment. Your hands can rest on the floor. And then nice and slowly lift the torso up. And then take that block and put it to the side, please. And you're just gonna come to is standing in the middle of your mat. So turn the toes out and give yourself enough space to move in between the feet. As you inhale, you're gonna bend the knees, bring your hands to your belly, lift the chest up. So your hands are in Unimudra, right on your lower belly. And then gently begin to lift that up towards the heart and then press it out and away from you. Inhale. Bring it back to the belly, straighten the knees, lift the arms up to your heart, and then exhale and gently press it out and away. Couple more times. Inhale, draw it to your belly, straighten the knees, lift the hands to your heart center, and then exhale and press it out. And 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Once again, inhale and exhale. And then next time you're here, pause here. Bring your thumbs together and your index fingers together. Bend the knees deep. Hold it in the center. And then slowly bring your hands to your hips, turn the toes in, your heels out. Inhale, lift the chest, exhale and fold. So as you fold forward, really hinge at the hips. Bring your hands to your block, or you can have your hands on the floor in front of you. Inhale, lift the chest, exhale and fold forward. We're gonna stay here for a couple minutes. I'll turn around this way. We're gonna stay here for 2 minutes. So if you notice, my forehead can rest comfortably on my block. See if you can do that. Maybe you need to raise the block a little bit. Maybe you need to put 2 blocks here, or maybe you can even put a chair here and rest your forehead on top of the chair or your blocks. 2 minutes, so close your eyes. Let the shoulders be soft. The point here is to really have something to support your head so that you can really let the low back soften. And you're not really holding yourself up with your hands. Your arms are soft and relaxed. Keep the knees slightly bent, slight flexion of the knees. Deep breath in, exhale. So the more I stay here, the more I feel the release in my low back. And then really nicely and easily come halfway up. Put your block to the side, please. Come into downward facing dog. So place your hands on the top of your mat, legs at the back of your mat. Bend one knee as you straighten the other leg, and then switch side, bending the other knee as you straighten the opposite leg, and just go alternating side to side. Inhale and exhale. Let the head drop completely. Your gaze is to your knees or to your belly, but really let the neck be relaxed. And then lift both heels off the ground. Lift the sits bones all the way up. And as you exhale, come all the way down to top of the push-up, and then lower the knees down, your chest down, and your chin down, and come all the way down to the ground. So we're gonna set up for your Sphinx pose. So bring the elbows directly underneath your shoulders. And we're gonna make this in kind of a passive Sphinx pose. So if you have a block, please grab your block. You're gonna rest your forehead on top of the block. Or you can pile up a bunch of pillows and rest your forehead on top. So make sure that your forehead is resting on something. Your elbows are directly beneath the shoulders. And then we'll just stay here in this back bend for 2 minutes. So many of the poses we have done today has been focused on back bending. And back bends are a form of, or poses of self-acceptance, opening up to our own self-love. So really beautiful poses to be able to have self-compassion and forgiveness for ourselves. And as you rest your third eye on your block or your structure, let that space just melt onto your structure. And feel as if there is a beautiful warm oil just trickling down your spine all the way to your lumbar spine, massaging the spine. Let the space behind your heart melt down towards your heart. Let your legs be really soft. Notice if you're squeezing your buttocks, can you allow the hips and the buttocks to just be really soft? We're just focusing the pose on the third eye, the space in between and above the eyebrows, and the melting of your heart. Now, if you like to, you can bend the left knee. Take the left knee out to the left like your left foot is in a tree pose. And pause here. You may notice different sensations in the hips. If you like to, you can extend that left leg out to the left. And only if it feels good, you can pick up the forehead from your block and then gently press up to a higher cobra with that left leg extended. So please only go here if this feels good on your spine. If you've had any kind of injuries in the spine and this back bend is too intense for you, just come down on your elbows, or you can bend that left knee. And then slowly begin to come back to the center. Let's get back to our Sphinx pose with the forehead supported with the block or your structure. Once again, just come back to the center, focus on that space between and above the eyebrows. And if you like to try on this side, you can bend that right knee and take the right knee out to the right, like your right leg is in tree pose. And if you like to try, you can See if you want to remove your forehead from the block and gently press yourself up a little bit higher to a higher cobra with that right knee out to the right. If you feel too much compression on your low back, please come back down on your elbows. And then gently bring the elbows back down to the floor. Straighten both legs out. Bend both knees and then just kind of windshield wiper your knees side to side. And then as you're ready, very slowly press yourself back to child's pose, lifting your hips all the way to your heels once again. Bring the forehead down towards the floor. And inhale, lift the chest up, come back to tabletop pose. Let's move again a little bit before we settle down. Inhale, lift the chest, send the tailbone up. Exhale, pull the belly around the back. 2 more times. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Lift the chest, send the tail up. Exhale into your cat pose. Once again, into your cat pose as you lift the chest and the tail up. Exhale into your cat pose. And then you're just going to cross your ankles, please, sitting between your heels. And as you put your feet flat on the floor, we're going to set up for our next pose. So if you have a couple of blocks, we're going to set up for Supta Baddha Konasana. We kind of did a different variation of it at the beginning of the class. This one, you're going to take one block and make a T of both of them, or take 2 blocks, make a T of both of them. The one on the lower height is going to be on your thoracic spine or your upper back right here. And the one, the taller one is going to be like a pillow under your head. So we're going to set it up like this. There's going to be about 4 or 5 inches in between the top one and the lower one. And then you're just going to come all the way down. Make sure that feels good. Resting the head on your pillow, on your block, and then the second one is going to be underneath between the shoulder blades. And so if you don't have a block, please feel free to do this same kind of thing with blankets. So you can pile up a bunch of blankets. The intention is to just open up through the heart. Or another option would be to take a couple of blankets and then you make a roll of them into a tight little roll, and that blanket is going to go underneath your thoracic spine. And as you come down, you allow the arms to rest out. So if you've got a blanket, you don't need anything under your head. But if you're using blocks, please put another block under your head. Okay, so set up with whatever props you have in your home. Initially, as you come down, you can have your feet flat on the floor, or if it feels good, you can extend the legs out. Turn the palms open. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. You want to feel the stretch. It's not an active stretch, it's very passive, but you want to feel that across your chest, all the way from one deltoid, one shoulder to the other. So all the way across to the upper pecs, pectorals muscles. You want to feel that gentle stretch. Make sure that it's not achy or uncomfortable. This should feel good. And then as you arrive here, please close your eyes. Again, let your lower body completely rest. You want to let the hips soften, the knees soften, the toes drifting away from each other. Really just focusing on creating this back bend, which could be intense if you start the class with. about another 30 seconds here, and then we're gonna finish up with our Shavasana. So really just relax for another 30 seconds. Open and close your jaws to make sure that you're not feeling any tension in the jaws, on the neck. Nice deep breath in, exhale. Put your feet flat on your mat, please. And then just gently roll over to one side. And as you roll over to the side, just really round through your upper back, the space that the block was resting on. Breathe into that space. And then we're just going to set up for our final pose. So I would suggest rolling a blanket and putting it under your knees. You can also put the blanket under your head, but really get yourself in a nice comfortable position. So I'm gonna put the blanket under my knees this way, and I'm just gonna come all the way down. And then once you come down, let the back of the head rest comfortably on the floor. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and let it go. Let the palms be open towards the ceiling. You did a lot of back bends today, which again, they're beautiful poses and sometimes very challenging, very difficult, not just in the physicality of it, but the ability to forgive ourselves and have self-compassion. We often have more love and compassion for others. So these back bends allow us to experience self-love, self-compassion in the energetic sense. So that ultimately we can give authentic love, show authentic love to ourselves and everyone else around us. If you have more time and you like to stay in your Shavasana, please feel free to do that, but we are at the top of the hour. If you'd like to continue on with me and continue with the rest of your day, please gently begin to deepen your breath. Draw one knee to your chest and then the other knee to your chest. Notice which nostril you're breathing out of a little bit easier. Roll over to that side and pause for a moment. And with the strength in your top arm, press yourself to a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to the heart center. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Have a beautiful weekend. Namaste.